You've inherited a home and you may be stressed out when you find out that there's a mortgage. Maybe you feel like you can't pay. All of a sudden you have more bills than ever and you're wondering what to do. The good news is that there's a Garn-St Germain Act that helps protect people who've inherited homes with mortgages so that the lender doesn't call the loan due just because someone passed away. My name's Scott Stollar. I lost my family at a young age, and now I'm a realtor in San Diego, California. I help families in the gray area of inheriting real estate when grief and logistics collide, because I personally understand what it feels like to be dealing with all of the aspects of losing a loved one, and then suddenly all of their bills are piling up and you need to figure out what to do. So the bills don't stop, neither does the grief. So let's just take a minute right here so you can pause and catch your breath. So what is this Garn-St Germain Act? Well, it was an act written in 1982 that has a whole bunch of stuff to it. And rather going through a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, it helps you who's inherited a home because it doesn't allow a lender to invoke the due on sale clause in a mortgage just because ownership is changed to a beneficiary. So if you have a loved one that passed away and you filed an affidavit of death in order to settle their estate, the lender can't call the loan due just because there's an affidavit of death of a trustee filed on the property. Also, it helps protect beneficiaries so that they can assume the loans that they inherit. The catch is, this just protects you for assuming the loan. You still have to pay it. It's important to understand that payments don't freeze, they don't pause, they don't take a time out just because you didn't do anything. So what does this look like if you've inherited a home with a mortgage and you do absolutely nothing with the mortgage? If you haven't paid for 30 days, your mortgage is officially late. You may get an extra phone call or 2 or 3, but you're probably not going to get the high level of debt collection that you'll notice later on. After 90 days of no payment, your loan is officially in default. And that means that the very first steps of the foreclosure process are going to start. This is going to take place by filing a notice of default on the title of the property. If you continue not to pay in the state of California, after at least 90 days, the trustee who works for the bank to protect the loan and collect the loan, if you default on it, can file a notice of trustee sale. The notice of trustee sale has to be posted on the property for at least 21 days. Now, if you've gotten this far, it's time to stress out, but there are still things that we can do. We actually have tools where we can help people get their homes under contract for great prices in less than 10 days. If you don't know what to do and you're in this situation and you're absolutely afraid of what the bank is going to tell you or what the trustee is going to tell you, don't stress out. That's exactly what I'm here for. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me a DM on here. We'll help you get this sorted out and into action right away so that we understand what you need to do to catch up on the loan, and if that's absolutely not an option, so that you can sell it. You may want to sell the home just because if you let it go to auction, you're likely going to lose any equity available in the home. If a home's worth $1 million, but there's a mortgage for $250,000, the bank doesn't care if it sells for more than $250,000. And even if you owe $250,000, if you get to this point and you correct it before it gets auctioned off on the courthouse steps, there are still trustee fees involved. These are legal fees that have been incurred on the property because the loan wasn't paid. So how do you prevent this altogether? The first thing is to communicate with the lender. And if you need some more time to catch up and you're like, wow, I can't pay this mortgage that I inherited at all, there's just no way it can happen, reach out to them, let them know your plans. If your plan is to get the home on the market and get it sold, tell them, hey, we plan to get the home on the market in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Can you give us forbearance and allow us to catch up on the mortgage payments that we missed? when we sell the property. It's not guaranteed, but communicating effectively and early is important in any situation. Also, what do you do if you find out that your loved one you just lost was sick and they haven't made the mortgage payments for 6 months? You may need to work faster, and that's why it's important to find the mortgage documents right away and reach out to the bank and communicate everything that's going on. The ways that people get caught off guard on homes that are inherited with a mortgage is maybe they're stuck in the stress or the grief or the pain and the emotions of it. It always tripped me out when people would say that there's stages of grief. There may be stages of grief, but it's not a checklist. There are different levels and different layers and different things that you can experience at different times. One minute you may be in denial about what happened, and the next minute you may be just extremely angry because of what you're experiencing. You may not be sad for weeks, and then suddenly you can't stop crying. It's normal not to follow it in line, and this is how people get tripped up. Maybe they forget to check the mail. Maybe they forget to forward the mail. Maybe they're not clear that there's a mortgage. Maybe they thought mom and dad paid off the home years ago and didn't realize that they actually had to take out another loan to get more money for their golden years. The Garn-St Germain Act keeps the loan in place, but it doesn't protect you if you don't pay. The 4 things that you need to do when you inherit a home with a mortgage, whether you're not able to pay, whether you find out by surprise that it's delinquent, or you just get emotional and miss it. Here's what you need to take care of. First and foremost, whether you can pay it or not, call the bank, that's the lender, and let them know what happened. Let them know that you lost your loved one and that you're a beneficiary planning to sell the home, assume the loan, whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to rent it out. Communicate clearly with them. And when you communicate with them, document it at every turn. No matter who you communicate, make sure that you get identification. They may not give you a full name. Ask for their employee number. Write down when you spoke to them, the summary of the conversation, and get email addresses for everyone in the department. When you finish a phone call, send them an email summarizing your understanding of the conversation and send it. If you're already late, call the loss mitigation department. See what options they have for people in this situation. They understand that people die. It's one of the things that everyone agrees to when we come into this world, is that at some point we're all going to leave. They know it happens. They're used to working with this. I'm not saying that they're going to be compassionate, but the more you communicate, the more they'll work with you. Number 3 is ask for that forbearance or that forgiveness plan so that you can repay them when you sell the home or refinance it. And number 4, loop in myself, your probate realtor, or your estate planning attorney so that they can help you with that. There are options that both of us can do to help protect you and to protect your inheritance and your equity. But if you wait too long and you lose the home to foreclosure, there's nothing that anyone can do to recoup that. Let's say that home you inherited is worth $1 million, but the loan's only for $250,000. At auction, they only sell it for $400,000. Even if you still get a check from that, even if there's not a big chunk of that that's eaten up by trustee fees, you still are not getting the legacy that your loved one left for you. So even though it's stressful, it's important to protect that gift that they worked their lives for you to have. The Garn-St Germain Act protects you, the beneficiary, when you're inheriting a home with a mortgage, as long as the bills are paid. But if the bills aren't paid, the protection stops. When you inherit real estate, clarity isn't just comforting, it's critical. Reach out and book your free clarity call today. It's a 30-minute confidential Zoom call for beneficiaries of real estate to help you figure out the right moves that support you so that you can take that home and turn it into an empowered future, no matter what you decide to do with it.